So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu Matagis. Welcome all of you to this Srimad Bhagavatam session. And today we'll be discussing from 4th Canto, 21st chapter, second half. That is, the whole chapter has 52 verses. So, the last Saturday, I think 25 has been taken. So, from 26 to 52. So, whatever is possible within that 1 hour, we'll try to take the essence of the lessons. Okay, let us start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Rojam Udirayed Nishtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Tirbhavati Naishtiki. Share the screen. So, we'll take one verse, then we'll discuss all the other verses. So I just selected verse number 33. Tamev yuyam bhajatatma vriddhibhir mano vachakaya gunai swakarmabhihi amayana kama dughangri pankajam yatadikara vasitartha siddhayah. तमेव यूयं भजतात्म वृत्तिभिर् मनोवचक्काय गुणैः स्वकर्मभिः अमायिन काम दुघाङ्घ्रिपङ्कजं यताधिकारावसितार्थसिद्धयः. Just one of you can recite because time.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, Tanvat Pranam.
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please.
Text 33. Tavev yoyam bhajatat mano vachakaya gunaihi swakarmabhihi amayina kam tukangri pankajam yatadikara vasitartha siddhaya. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So, go to the word to word meaning. Come unto him, eva, certainly, yam, all you citizens, bhajata, worship, atma, own, vrittibihi, occupational duty, manaha, mind, vacha, words, kaya, body, gunehi, by the particular qualities, swakarma bhi, by occupational duties, amayinaha, without reservation, kamaduga, fulfilling all desires, hungry pankajam, lotus feet, yatha, as far as, adhikara, ability, avasita artha, fully convinced of one's interest, siddhaya, satisfaction. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Uttam Maharaj advised his citizens, engaging your minds, your words, your bodies, and the results of your occupational duties, and being always open-minded. You should all render devotional service to the Lord. According to your abilities and the occupations in which you are situated, you should engage your service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full confidence and without reservation. Then you will surely be successful in achieving the final objective in your lives. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Purport will be discussing some other. Okay, Hare Krishna. Mama Gyantavarandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoabhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Savadanikamam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Radha Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagar Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagananita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhan Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचनं पङ्गुं गिरिगिरिं यत्कृपातु नमो विष्णुपदाष्टविष्टावतारणे नमो विष्णुपदाष्टविष्टावतारणे। जय श्री कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, thank you very much for keeping the appointment with Krishna today, 14th of June 2025. It's a very wonderful chapter, instructions by Maharaj Prithu. See, in the 8th verse, you can see the translation, right? Where Sutta Goswami is telling to the sages in Naimisharanya, O Shaunika, leader of the great sages, after hearing Maitreya speak about the various activities of King Prithu, because from the previous chapters, so many activities of the king was being discussed. So the original king was fully qualified, glorified, and widely praised all over the world. Now Vidura, the great devotee, very submissively worshipped Maitreya Rishi and asked him the following question. So here he's asking from 9 and 2, where he says, My dear Brahmana Maitreya, it is very enlightening to understand that King Prithu was enthroned by the great sages and Brahmanas. All the demigods presented with him with innumerable gifts, and he also expanded his influence upon personally receiving strength from Lord Vishnu. Thus, he greatly developed the earth. The 10th verse, he says, Prithu Maharaj was so great in his activities and magnanimous in his method of ruling that all the kings and demigods on the various planets still follow in his footsteps. Who is there who will not try to hear about his glorious activities? So now Vidur Maharaj is telling, I wish to hear more and more about Prithu Maharaj because his activities are so pious and auspicious. See, in the 25th verse, in this current chapter only, it is La. Prithu Maharaj, who is an empowered incarnation of the Supreme Lord, no? He gives very nice instructions to his citizens. He says, Tat praja bhatar pindartham swartham evanusuyah kuruta dokshaja dhiyas tarhi me anugraha kritaha. So he says, therefore, my dear citizens, for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute your duties properly in terms of your positions of Varna and Ashrama, and should always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your hearts. By doing so, you will protect your own interests and you will bestow mercy upon your king for his welfare after death. See, Prabhupada in the purport, he very nicely reflects as to what Prithvi Maharaj wanted the ruling class to do. So Prabhupada writes, the words Adokshaja Dhiyaha, meaning Krishna consciousness, is very important words in this verse. This is 4:21-25. See, the king and citizens should both be Krishna conscious. King and citizens should both be Krishna conscious. Otherwise, both of them will be doomed to lower species of life after death. See, a responsible government must teach Krishna consciousness very vigorously for the benefit of everyone. Without Krishna consciousness, neither the state nor the citizens of the state can be responsible. So Prithu Maharaj, therefore, he specifically he requested citizens to act in Krishna consciousness. And he was also very anxious to teach them how to become Krishna conscious. First of all, he requested everybody to be, and he also wanted to teach how to become Krishna conscious. See, I think I'll just 1 minute, I'll just share the screen also. So this is the 25th verse, just know. So because he wanted everybody to know about the Krishna consciousness activities. Now, in the 26th, he says, I request all the pure-hearted demigods, forefathers, and saintly persons to support my proposal. For after death, the result of an action is equally shared by its doer, its director, and supporter. See, the government of Prithu Maharaj was perfect because, see, the purport is very beautiful because it was administered exactly according to the orders of the Vedic injunctions. Prithu Maharaj has already explained that the chief duty of the government is to see that everyone executes his respective duty and is elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So the government should be so conducted that automatically one is elevated to Krishna consciousness. So King Prithu therefore wanted his citizens to cooperate fully with him. For if they assented, they would enjoy the same profit as he after death. That means the ruler as well as citizens, they all follow Krishna consciousness. So once the ruler, if he dies, no, he goes. But because both of them are Krishna conscious, he will, the citizens also will enjoy what the king enjoyed after his passing away. So if Prithu Maharaj as a perfect king were elevated to the heavenly planets, the citizens who cooperated by approving of his methods would also be elevated with him. So since the Krishna conscious movement going on at the present moment is genuine, perfect, and authorized. So see, Prabhupada is telling, since the Krishna consciousness movement going on at the present moment, even now, right, is genuine, perfect, and authorized, and is following in the footsteps of Prithu Maharaj. So anyone who cooperates with this movement or accepts its principles will get the same result as the workers who are actively propagating Krishna consciousness. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So 27th verse also, he says, my dear respectable ladies and gentlemen. See, now he's giving a speech, right? Tomorrow is giving a speech to everyone. So, my dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and the life after death? So it's a very long purport which I request all of you to read. Basically, it's the main purpose. In the second paragraph, it says, in the Vishnu Purana, it is said that the entire Varnashrama institution is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the rules and regulations set up for the execution of the duties of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, or Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. That is the purpose. So, because in fact, this whole chapter everybody should go through. The purpose, please go through at your convenience. So, see, Maharaj, see, Gautam is a very wonderful, great king. Everybody is now following him in his footsteps because he wanted everybody to Krishna conscious and he was teaching how to be Krishna conscious as well. See, each and every living entity can practically cure their material diseases. That's why in 4:21:31, Kusumara says, by the inclination to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the suffering humanity can immediately cleanse the dirt which has accumulated in their minds during innumerable births. So many births, right? So all that can be cleansed by just having an inclination to serve the Lord. See, like the Ganges water, which emanates from the lotus toes of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a process, immediately cleanses the mind. And thus spiritual or Krishna consciousness gradually increases. See, my Guru Maharaj was taking a class, I think in Europe. He says, in your country, we see it's all about medicines. I think, please, we must throw these medicines out of our lives. There is even something called water therapy. By drinking water or applying water, we get cured. So no medicines is required. See, even though there is so much pollution, the Ganges gets cleared within a distance of 200 meters. It has so much medicinal effects. The thing is, if we really want to cure our disease, we should try and follow at least one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam for the rest of our lives. If not, we are useless. This is what. If we really want to cure our diseases, right? We are all diseased. We should try to try and follow at least one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam for the rest of our lives. That means read, recite, understand, and put it into practice. Otherwise, we are useless. Otherwise, what we are doing is we are wasting our time. Shraba eva hi kevalam, right? See, if you can't even properly use, follow one verse, no? That is why the diseases are always there. Then what happens? We run for medicines here and there. See, what is going to happen will happen. And what will not happen will never happen. So this we must understand. We have to save ourselves from all these medicines, right? See, very nice example he gave. In our food pipes and intestines, and also our mouth, we have antiseptic liquid. So our saliva itself is antiseptic. See, the tabs in our mouth, no, are automatically released when we are eating, right? But we don't have the time to release Krishna in our mouths. Then we complain and run to the medicines. The thing is, we're completely artificial. We don't have faith at all. We ask Krishna to save us, but we don't accept them when he comes. So our faith is artificial. What we must have, we must have full faith. See, even now we can save ourselves from all these artificial medicines, right? Taking medicine has become a habit. So even as a habit, we should keep it to the minimum, right? We should not pour into our mouth more than required. What we should take is, we should just take to Sankirtan. Sankirtan clears the dirt. Chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we wash the cloth, no, it is clean. And when we wear it, we look nice. So when we do devotional service, we become very nice looking. But we do artificial devotional service. So we should not lie about devotional service. See, the more clean our life is, then Krishna will be willing that he will come to us. See, we should be keeping ourselves smiling, right? Otherwise, Krishna will go away. So what happens is a very really horrible state when Krishna takes the life out, right? If he leaves us, then what is left? So the real medicine is there when you drink the nectarian juice of bhakti through the pages of Bhagavatam. So when you have time, no, please go through Bhagavatam. Especially this chapter, you can go. Maybe after this class today, the whole day you can sit, and today is nice, right? To hear whenever you sit with Bhagavatam, Krishna is already there. And if you want to be healthy, everybody wants to be healthy and happy and everything, right? If you want to be healthy, we should never presuppose the living entities, judge the living entities. No. Who is like this? He's like, see, one day that person will be bad. Next day he will be very good. See, everyone is a slave of Maya, right? So what can they do? So don't be bothered about these things. See, when you're bothered, no, you're anxious and the disease is there. Almost your anxiety is there. So we should always be completely detached, no attachment. Okay. See, once there was a king who received a gift of two magnificent falcons. The most beautiful birds here, right, he had ever seen. So he gave the precious birds, the king gave it to the head falconer to be trained. So months passed, okay. So one day, the head falconer informed the king that though one of the falcons was flying majestically, very nicely, soaring high in the sky, the other bird had not moved from its branch since the day it had arrived. It is still there, it is not moving. The king, he summoned so many people from all the land to make that falcon fly, but no one could make it. No one could make that falcon fly. So present the task to the member of the court. But the next day, the king saw through the palace window the bird had still not moved from its branch. So having tried everything else, no, the king thought to himself, maybe I need someone more familiar with the countryside, no, and the villages and all. So he told the minister, go and get a farmer. Next in the morning, the king was thrilled to see the falcon soaring high above the palace gardens. He said to the minister, "Bring me that person who did this miracle." So he was brought, and he stood before the king. The king asked him, "How did you do? How did you make the falcon fly?" The farmer very humbly said, "O king, it was very easy. I simply cut the branch where the bird was sitting. We are all made to fly. We are all actually made to fly, to realize our incredible potential as souls, being eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. So the perfection of our lives is to attain love of Godhead. And this alone can bring us unlimited bliss, right? But most of the times we sit on our branches, clinging to the things that are familiar to us in this material world, right? See, the possibilities are endless, but most of us are remain undiscovered. See, because we conform to the familiar, the comfortable, comfort zone, without realizing that the things to which we are attached, they are all prone to be destroyed for destruction. And the people with whom we are attached, they are prone to leave us. So that is why there is an axe which is required to cut the branch of our attachment to material things. So Krishna speaks in Bhagavatam 15.3 and 4. Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nacha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suvirudamulam asanga shastrena dridena chitva tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्ति प्रसृता पुराणी. It says, no, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Therefore, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. And there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. See, in Bhagavatam, we see that Devavati Mata is addressing Kapila Muni. So Bhritya Samsara Taro Kutaram. Kutaram. See, you are the axe. You are the axe which can cut the tree of mental existence. That's why Bhagavatam 127 it is said, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janeshya Janetiyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the supersonality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. That's why in the 32nd, in this chapter 420 and 32, Prabhupada writes, Bhakti or devotional service is characterized by Vairagya and Jnana. Bhakti is characterized by Vairagya and Jnana. Jnana refers to understanding that one is not this body. That is Jnana. And Vairagya means disinterest in sense gratification. So these two primary principles of separation from material bondage can be realized on the strength of Bhakti Yoga. So when a devotee is fixed in the loving service of the lotus feet of Krishna, he will never come back to this material existence after quitting the body. Because it's as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, right? Tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mam eti so Arjuna, 4.9 Bhagavad Gita says. So devotional service helps us as an axe to cut off our attachment to the branch of this material world by helping us develop the two strong wings of Jnana and Vairagya, which will lead us into our this glorious flight, to the supreme abode of the Lord. So Jnana and Vairagya. So Jnana means understanding that we are not this body. Vairagya means disinterested in the sense gratification. So this 33rd verse which we recited in the beginning before starting the class, right? See, he's here. Now we see that actually Guru Maharaj is giving a speech. He started with, my dear ladies and gentlemen, right? He's giving a wonderful speech. How to rule, how to that everybody becomes Krishna conscious, So his words, what we were speaking, his words were all grave and certain. See, it appears when he spoke, when Putumara spoke, he expressed his personal realization of the absolute truth in order to benefit all who were present there. So Putumara's speech was really beautiful, right? So where he gives the citizens of his kingdom very perfect advice in 4:21:33, which we recited, right? Where he says, no, Pratumara advises citizens. What he is telling? Engaging your minds, your words, your bodies, and the results of your occupational duties, and being always open minded, you should all render devotional service to the Lord. According to your abilities and occupations in which you are situated, you should engage your service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full confidence and without reservation. Then you will surely be successful in achieving the final objective in your lives. See, here in this verse, the word yathadikara is significant, which means according to one's ability. You see, nobody is forcing you. Whatever you're comfortable, according to that. So Prabhupada very nicely explains that if one sincerely executes his occupational duty, that will be sufficient. One does not need to become like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, right? Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramachandra. No. Their capabilities are certainly far above ours. See, even a Shudra, right, who is in the lowest stage of life, according to the mental qualities, right, he can achieve the same success. So anyone can become successful in devotional service, provided it displays no duplicity. Should be sincere, honest, focused. So it is explained here that one must be very frank and open-minded. That's what's on open-minded, right? Means to be situated in a low, see, to be situated in a lower status of life is not a disqualification for success in devotional service. No. The only qualification is that whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, he must be open, frank, and free from reservations. Then, by performing his particular occupational duty under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, he can achieve the highest success in life. So, the formula for success for the people, especially in this Kali, where almost the entire population belongs to the Shudra category, is given by King Prithu, who practices what he preaches, as if he, because he's fully aware of his position, right, and his duty as a king. See, in 4:21:22, king's position is given. That is, by the grace of the Supreme, what King Prithu is telling in 4:21:22, he says about his position. He says, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, I have been appointed the king of this planet, and I carry to rule the citizens, protect them from all danger, and give them employment according to their respective positions in the social order established by Vedic injunction. And in 4:21:24, he speaks about the king's duty. The duty first is king's position in 4:21:22, and what is the king's duty? In 24, he says, any king who does not teach his citizens about the respective duties in terms of varna and ashrama, but who simply exacts like tolls and taxes from them, he is liable to suffer for the impious activities which have been performed by the citizens. So citizens performing impious, it affects a king. So in addition to such degradation, king also loses his own fortune. Whereas in the case of the modern day politicians, see, the concern is on how to retain their position, power, and make their living comfortable. Because they are not aware of their actual position. So what to speak of knowing their duty? So in order to maintain the status quo, no, they do not hesitate in giving false promises. You can see nowadays, which are nothing but what do we say, post-dated checks. Give that, we make this and that. Even at the cost of degrading to lower species of life. He doesn't realize. So it's very, very important. Right? So we should pray to the lotus feet of Guru, Prabhupada, and Krishna, right? To be firmly fixed in following the advice of Maharaj Prithu and never be tempted to accept the post-dated checks, which are given by the unscrupulous leaders of modern times, right? See, a person who is able to liberate his dependents, like his children, citizens, disciples, like father, right? Spiritual master or a king, who is able to liberate them from the ocean of birth and death. He alone can become a parent, a king, or a guru. And so here we find that Prithu Maharaj, the perfect king, because he is being a empowered incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he very aptly advises his citizens about the ways of pleasing the Lord and rendering devotional service. This is what no, you learn and tell others. See, right from demigods down to the smallest ant, everyone are Krishna servitors. So we can never dare to compete with the service done by demigods and great acharyas. But the Lord is so merciful because He is pleased if we perform our own duties perfectly. So Pratamara says that we should engage our minds, words, and the results of occupational duties to the best of our abilities, right? So the word amayinaha means without reservation is very important to understand. So we should be very simple and straightforward in our dealings with others. If one exhibits duplicity, and has a crooked heart, the Lord will not desire to reside in such a heart. And if he is displeased, we are sure to be doomed. So Prabhupada very explicitly stated in the importance of the word amayinaha, the word, the purport. He said anyone can become successful in devotional service provided it displays no duplicity. That is, one must be very frank and open-minded. See, to be situated in lower status of life is not a disqualification, okay, for success in devotional service. That's what his purpose is. The only curve is that whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, he must be open, frank, and free from reservation. So success in devotional service depends on whether our thoughts, words, and deeds are pleasing to Krishna. Whether it's pleasing to Krishna or not. That's the most important thing. So people with duplicity nature, doing something, telling something, and doing the cause a lot of trouble to others. So Krishna is very nicely explained in 12.15. Yasma no dujate loko, loka no dujate chaya, harsha marshabayo dveger, mukto yas sachame priya. He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is occupied in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So let us remember this always and perform devotional service with open mindedness. That's why in the 36th verse, the purport of 36, he says, Prabhupada says, therefore, he thanked, Prutumara thanked in a humble way for engaging in devotional service and thus bestowing their mercy upon him. So he's thanking the citizens for all the citizens engaging themselves in devotional service. He's thanking them and bestowing their mercy upon him. So in a state where citizens of the and the head of state are engaged in devotional service, unto whom? Unto Krishna, they help one another and both are mutually benefited. Very important point. Same, continuing in the 37th purport, Prabhupada says, the simple definition of Vaishnava is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is, a person who immediately reminds one of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is a Vaishnava. Right? Simple definition. Anybody who reminds you of Krishna, that person is a Vaishnava. So both Vaishnavas and Brahmanas are mentioned in this, right? In this verse. See, a Vaishnava is a learner Brahmana and is therefore designated as Brahmana Vaishnava. Brahmana Pandita. See, a Vaishnava is supposed to be a Brahmana already, but a Brahmana may not be a pure Vaishnava. See, a Brahmana's qualification are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, right? Truthfulness, control of the senses, right? Tolerance, simplicity, firm faith in scriptures, practical application of Brahmanical qualities, right? But in addition to all these qualifications, when one fully engages in the loving service of the Lord, he becomes a Vaishnava. Prabhupada very clearly says in 37th verse. And in the 38th verse, purport, the Lord's exemplary behavior is to teach us. So we should learn from his personal behavior how to give protection to the cow, how to cultivate Brahminic qualities, and how to respect the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3.21, Yadyad acharati shreshtas tattad evetaro janaha. If the leading personalities behave in a certain manner, others follow them automatically. So who can be more of a leading personality than the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, and whose behavior could be more exemplary, more than Krishna? Nobody's. So it is not that Krishna needed to do all these things to acquire material gain, right? Krishna did not, no need for him to do all these things. But all these acts are performed just to teach us. how to behave in this material world. That's why it comes. See, today one may be a very rich man, but tomorrow he may become poor. Today one may be very famous, tomorrow he may be infamous. So materially obtained opulences are never fixed. But all the six opulences, they perpetually exist with Supreme Personality of God Krishna. Not only in the spiritual world, but also in the material world. So Krishna's reputation is fixed. His book of wisdom, Bhagavad Gita, it is still honored by everyone. So everything pertaining to Krishna is eternally existing. So very important, right? So all these mantras, no, they are uttered to satisfy Supreme Personality of God Krishna through the demigods. In the sacrifices, they recite the mantras, no, in the fire sacrifice and all. So all these mantras are uttered. In the 41st purport, he says, these mantras are uttered to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead through demigods such as Indra and Aditya. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says, Naham tishtami vaikunte yuginam hridayeshuva tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti mad bhaktaha. See, Narada Muni was uh, going to meet Krishna. So he went to the spiritual world and he was looking everywhere. He could not find him. For a long time, suddenly he saw Krishna running and coming. Here, wait, Krishna, wait, I want to speak. No, 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 I'm very busy. Krishna was running. No, no, wait, wait, wait. Just 1 minute. I just want to know, please give me your address where I can find you easily. Because I was searching him for so many times. So he opened his uh, laptop, trying to get his address. Right. The smartphone he was putting. So then Krishna replied, Naham tishtami vaikunte yogina mrideshuva tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti matpakta. He says, I am not in Vaikunta, nor in the hearts of the yogis. I remain where my devotees engage in glorifying my activities. So it is understood that Supreme Personality of Godhead does not leave the company of his devotees. So Krishna, that's a very beautiful point, no, in this given in this 41st. So the 42nd purport. Therefore, see, very long purports are there. So I took taken the essence and trying to convey so that it's easier for to understand. Just like a trailer, you have to see the full film later on. So a devotee of Lord Krishna is actually a perfect Brahmana. A devotee of Lord Krishna is actually a perfect Brahmana. His situation is transcendental because he's free from the four defects of conditional life. And the four defects are tendencies to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to possess imperfect senses. See, a perfect Vaishnava or Krishna conscious person is always in this transcendental position because he speaks according to Krishna and his representative. So, in these words, the word Mangala, auspicious, is very significant. Sridhara Swami quotes that to do what is good and to reject what is not good is called Mangala or auspicious. To do what is good and to reject what is not good is Mangala, it's auspicious. So to what is good means to accept everything favorable to do our devotional service. And to reject what is not good means to reject everything not favorable for discharging devotional service. So in a Krishna conscious movement, we accept this principle by rejecting the four prohibited items. What are they? Illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, flesh eating, right? And accepting the daily chanting of at least 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And meditation 3 times a day by chanting the Gayatri Mantra. So in this way, one can keep his Brahminical culture and spiritual strength intact. So by following these principles of devotional service strictly, chanting 24 hours a day, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One makes positive progress in spiritual life and ultimately becomes completely fit to see the Supreme Personality of God Krishna face to face. See, in the last line of purport 43, it says Maharaj Prithu is the perfect example of an ideal chief executive. So really, wonderful things, you know. See, another interesting thing I would like to share. The reason for Kaurava's defeat and Pandava's victory. Okay. Kauravas were defeated because they did not have a common goal. Understood? Kauravas were defeated because they did not have a common goal. Whereas Pandavas were victorious because they had a common goal. So let me explain it further. See, in Kauravas side, each one had a different aim in fight against the Pandavas. Now, Duryodhana was fighting mainly to retain his kingdom and kill the Pandavas. Karna was fighting to take revenge against Arjuna. Bhishmadeva and Dronacharya were fighting as they were obliged to protect the Hastinapura kingdom. Other kings like Jayadratha were also having their own agendas. So the synergy was not there to fight with full strength, and they had to face defeat. On the other hand, the Pandavas had one common goal, which is to follow the orders of Krishna. Follow the orders of Krishna, only one goal. So they were completely dependent on Krishna for everything. And right from the beginning, they were obedient to Krishna's instructions. So even though they were small in number compared to the Kauravas, they came out victorious in the end, right? So the Pandavas were victorious also because they were always obedient to the elders and were following the instructions strictly. Very important point. This is a real practical instruction we have to follow. Pandavas were victorious because they were always obedient to the elders and were following their instructions strictly. No arguments. And Duryodhana and his companions not only disobeyed the elders, did not obey the elders' instructions, but also disrespected them. So that is the reason for the defeat. So it is very true, an unpleasant fact these days, no, that the younger generation hardly obey the elders. Wisdom comes with experience, and it can never be replaced by this bookish knowledge. Okay. So the current system of modern education, children are taught to experiment everything on their own, right? That's what, no, experiment on your own. And that the older system of learning is primitive. That's what is being learned. So as a result, what happens? The elders are disrespected, disregarded. My Maharaj, Guru Maharaj always insists on the importance of obedience, right? Importance of obedience as an aspect in our lives. He will always say, without obedience, everything comes. With obedience, everything comes. Without nothing comes. So elders, as it is, have good feelings for us. Okay. So when we obey them, the blessings flow from the core of their hearts. You know what is blessings? So okay, when we do the dandavats to parents or elders, they bless you right in front of you. That is blessing, definitely. But if somebody remembers you from far away, that this Mataji, this Prabhuji is, and remembers you in a nice way, how they served and all, that is the greatest blessing because you have created a place in their hearts. So the same way you have to create a place in Krishna's heart. So he will always bless us. So that's why the 44th verse is beautiful verse. Gunayanam Shiradhanam Kritagyam Vruddashrayam Samavranate Anusampadaha Prasidatam Brahmakulam Gavam Cha Janardana Sanucharascha Mahyam. Please hear the translation. Whoever acquires the Brahminical qualifications, whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful, and who takes shelter of the experienced persons, gets all the opulence of the world. What a beautiful. Whoever acquires the Brahminical qualification, that is, whose only wealth is not money, bank balance, all the gold and all, good behavior, who is always grateful, and who takes shelter of the experienced persons, and he gets all the opulences of the world. So he says, I therefore wish that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his associates be pleased with the Brahmana class, with the cows, and with me. See, the most important word in this verse is Vriddashrayam. See, we have so many elder devotees around us. So if we only shed our ego and bend down a little bit, elderly devotees will give us all knowledge and wisdom to us. Just imagine what a great boon to have so many sincere devotees of Srila Prabhupada still around us. They have personally spent time with Prabhupada, spoken to him, got instruction from him, and served him. So we can take their help in following Srila Prabhupada. And beyond all this, we have Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures, easily available for us. So he is the best elder we have still around in the form of his Vani. So when we open his book and study his words sincerely, Prabhupada will speak to us. And plus, we have all the acharyas in the parampara. Follow them because it comes in the parampara, in the authorized format. We have to do only three things in our life. Follow the three instructions. Chant your rounds sincerely, read Bhagavatam daily, and do your prescribed duties in whichever ashram you are. See, what makes a person very attractive? Even though we place so much importance on the external appearance, in the long term, no, we find that people are attracted and have respect and regard only for a person who has got good inner qualities. My Guru Maharaj always hammered us and insisted that we cultivate and develop good behavior and good qualities, and said that 90% of Bhagavatam verses are aimed at building our character, qualities, and behavior. 90%. That's why this 420 verse is very important, which speaks about good behavior, gratefulness, right? Take shelter of experienced persons. See, we may be materially not well off, okay? But as devotees, our real wealth and only wealth is gunayanam and shiladhanam, stocked of good qualities and behavior. Only if we have these two, we can have the third qualification, kritagyam, which is to be grateful to Krishna and his devotees for our spiritual life and all that we have. So the way, therefore, to become a devotee is to tolerate, accept, and be merciful and compassionate to everyone. To become a devotee is to tolerate, accept, and be merciful and compassionate to everyone. And always remember, except for ourselves, everyone else is a great devotee. Very important point. Except for ourselves, everyone is a great devotee. So if we live in this maxim that all wealth of good behavior will automatically manifest in our hearts. See, in the 51st verse, just share the screen for the last two verses. This King Prutu's chapter is gives us really practical instructions for us to follow how to be in Krishna conscious. So here it says, no, now citizens are giving the feedback, right? It says, today you have opened our eyes and revealed how to cross to the other side of the ocean of darkness. By our past deeds and by the arrangement of a superior authority, we are entangled in a network of fruitive activities and have lost sight of the destination of life. Thus, we have been wandering within the universe. And the purport Prabhupada says, in this verse, the words karma bhir daiva samnyatehi are very significant. Due to the quality of our actions, we come to the association of the modes of mental nature. And by superior arrangement, we are given a chance to enjoy the fruitive results of such activities in different types of bodies. In this way, having lost sight of their destination in life, all living entities are wandering in different species throughout the universe. Sometimes they're getting birth in the lower species, sometimes they exist in the higher planetary systems. Thus, we are all wandering since time immemorial. It is by the grace of the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead that we get the clue of devotional life. And thus, progress and success in our life begins. Here, this is admitted by the citizens of King Prithu. In full consciousness, they admit the benefit they have derived from the activities of Maharaj Prithu. This is the point to understand. We should be very grateful. It's actually not by accident or not. It's by because we have the desire, we have the eagerness. So somewhere Krishna sends a spiritual master, a great devotee. That's why how we have come into the Krishna conscious movement. If you just think about how did I come, there'll be somebody who had taught you, right? That is sent by Krishna. It's coming from authorities. No? King Prithu has sent. Correct. The 52nd verse is the last verse of this chapter. Dear Lord, you are situated in your pure existential position of goodness. Therefore, you are the perfect representative of the Supreme Lord. You are glorified by your own prowess. And thus, you are maintaining the entire world by introducing Brahminical culture and protecting everyone in your line of duty as a Kshatriya. See, without the spirit of Brahminic culture and without proper protection from the government, No social standard can be maintained properly. Very see, Brahminic culture is very important and proper protection from government. So this is admitted in this verse by the citizens of Maharaj Prithu, who could maintain the wonderful situation of his government due to his position in pure goodness. The leader should be pure, right? So the word Vivaridha Satvaya is significant. In the material world, there are three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. So one has to be raised from the platform of ignorance to the platform of goodness by devotional service. So he says there is no other means for elevating one from the lowest stage of life to the highest stage but the execution of devotional service, as advised in the previous chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So one can raise himself from the lowest position to the highest simply by associating with devotees and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly from their mouths. Shrmatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantastoya Bhadrani Vidunote Suhritsatam. When one engages in devotional service in the first stages of hearing and chanting, the Lord, who is in everyone's heart, helps the devotee in cleansing his heart. 1 to 17, Bhagavatam. So, in the gradual cleansing process, one is relieved of the influence of passion and ignorance and is situated on the platform of goodness. Sorry, 1 minute, just. See, the result of association with qualities of passion and ignorance is that one becomes lusty and greedy. But when one is elevated to the platform of goodness, he is satisfied in any condition of life and without lust and greed. So, this mentality indicates one's situation on the platform of goodness. So one has to transcend this goodness also and raise himself to the pure goodness called Vivriddha Sattva or the advanced stage of goodness. So in the advanced stage of goodness, one can become Krishna conscious. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu is addressed here as Vivriddha Sattva or one who is situated in the transcendental position. But Maharaj Prithu, although situated in the transcendental position of a pure devotee, he came down to the position of Brahmana and Kshatriya for the benefit of human society and thus gave protection to the entire world by his personal prowess. Although he was a king, a Kshatriya, because he was a Vaishnava, he was also a Brahmana. So as a Brahmana, he could give proper instruction to the citizens. And as a Kshatriya, he could rightly give protection to all of them. That's why those days they were all known as kings, they were Raja Rishis. They were also very well versed in the Vedas and all. But ultimately they will listen to the advice of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So the citizens of Maharaj Prithu were protected in all respects by the perfect king. Thus, then the Bhaktivedanta purpose of 4th Canto, 21st chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Instructions by Prithu Maharaj. I just stop here with one good point which is given in the 25th verse, right? Verse number 25. I'll stop with that one. 421 and 25. Again, I will share the screen for that also. Hare Krishna. 27. Yeah. So we'll share the screen for this too. This gives the essence of the whole chapter. तत्प्रजा भर्तृपिंडार्थम स्वार्थम एवानुसाय एवानसूयवः कुरुतादोक्षज धीयस् tarhi me anugraha kritaha. Uttara continued. Therefore, my dear citizens, for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute your duties properly in terms of your positions of Varna and Ashrama. You should always think of the Supreme Personality Godhead within your hearts. By doing so, you will protect your own interests and you will bestow mercy upon your king for his welfare after death. So he says the word adokshaja dhiya meaning Krishna consciousness. Very important in this verse. The king and citizens should both be Krishna conscious. Otherwise, both of them will be doomed to lower species of life after death. So, a responsible government must teach Krishna consciousness very vigorously for the benefit of all. Without Krishna consciousness, neither the state nor the citizens of the state can be responsible. So, Prithu Maharaj therefore specifically requested the citizens to act in Krishna consciousness. And he was also very anxious to teach them how to become Krishna conscious. So, a summary of Krishna consciousness given in Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Yat karoshi yad dashnashi, yad duhosi dadasi yad, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, and whatever penances you undergo should be done in Krishna consciousness or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of God. If all the people of the state, including government servants, are taught the techniques of spiritual life, and although everyone is liable to be punished in different ways by the stringent laws of material nature, they will not be implicated. Jai Ganantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gopal ki Nitago, Bari Vancha Kalpatarubhisya, Kripa Sindhubayocha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnav. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to glorify the Lord and take this wonderful chapter, Instructions of the Kutu Maharaj, very practical lessons. So only a glimpse was being given. It's a very huge chapter. Otherwise, normally what happens? 1 or 2 hours we discuss for 1 hour. So a lot of very good purports are there, very practical lessons which everybody can relate and put into practice. So please go through. I request all of you to go the chapters. Whatever is possible within my capacity, within this time, I try to share. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare
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 Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. First pranam, Dandavat pranam to
Hare
everybody
Krishna.
assembled. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Shri Hari Prabhu, for this opportunity. Hare Krishna. Can I close it? Maybe Prabhu. See, Hari Prabhu, are you there? If you know, otherwise I can close on your behalf. Okay, thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Close now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Close now. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा, आप सबको दोनों प्रणाम।